From Durant, Oklahoma, this is Midwest Sports Saturday. Good morning, I'm Joey McWilliams here on site from a windy Southeastern softball field alongside Coach Mackenzie Sher, who is the Southeastern coach, second season with the program. First off, I just want to say, Coach, it's an absolute privilege to get to visit with you today because I know it's doubleheader today.
It is, yep.
Southern Nazarene in town, two teams who are in the top of the Great American Conference standings. So let's just start off really quickly, bring us up to where we are today. Yesterday, Southern Nazarene takes the win here in Durant, 4-1 a victory. Tell us about yesterday's game.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you're kind of getting to the back half of our season in which we have, the top half of conference.
It's windy.
The top half of conference. So, we don't ever shy down to that, which is fun. So it kind of gives you an exciting way into the conference tournament. SNU's been on a roll this season. They're a good team. So are we. So, we came out yesterday and it was a pretty hard fought game, I think, until the very end. We were in it. Just got to have some timely hitting. So.
That's one of those things, too. In a game like that, your team can hit the ball well. I mean, you can produce some offense, and you've done it over the course of this season. Down 4-1 late, really, you're never out of it.
No, yeah, and I think that's what about this group I can appreciate as we've kind of grown through this season is that you can kind of see some of that maturity mentally where it's like, 7 innings is for a reason. And I think as the season goes on and you kind of roll, hopefully by the end of it, it's a full confidence in that because they should be confident in that because they're pretty good. So.
Tell me a little bit about that too then, because this is your second season here in Durant, which by the way, I mentioned it's a privilege to get to visit with you. As someone who gets to see a lot of Southeastern games, it's a privilege to have you as a coach. So we're thankful to have you in Durant. Now, you have some maturity, you have some upperclassmen, but you're also starting to bring in some of the players that you've recruited to the program. Talk about the mix of those two.
Yeah, I think it's been fun. Last year was a good group, and I think the relationship side of it is, I feel like I've known them for a really long time is what I'm trying to say. Not just a year and a half. Some of the kids that are young women that are going to be leaving after this year, it's going to be tough. But you do see some of those freshmen starting to integrate a little bit, some of those transfers. And I think they've done a really good job. I think in the beginning it was more like, okay, we have 18-year-olds and we have some that are 23, 22, 23-year-olds. And so you kind of try to figure out how that's going to wave into each other. But they've done a good job. And you can always find common ground in something. So they've really started to build together and grow together. And as you kind of see that, the legacy that these older girls are going to leave behind and teaching the younger ones how to kind of move through what is expected. So it's been fun.
We're here with Mackenzie Sher, who is the Southeastern head coach. Softball going on today. Coach, it's an absolutely beautiful day. Now, I said windy, and right now it looks like it's blowing out to left.
It is.
So is that good for the Storm?
It's always good for the Storm. Storm is going to take whatever it is and use it. Yeah.
You talked about not shying away from these good opponents, and of course, Southern Nazarene right now number 2 in the standings.
Yep.
You all number 4 in the standings. Which, by the way, I mean, you all were a 4 seed last year, and you came away with a tournament championship. Big deal. That was a big thing for the program. It had been a few years since Southeastern had won a softball Great American Conference tournament championship. So 4 seed, it is what it is. You want to just be playing, I'm sure, in May. That's the big thing. But you can't shy away from the tough teams because the back part of your schedule, I don't know who created that schedule, but they didn't make it easy for Southeastern.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's been fun. I think our conference is really unique in that there's not that much of a difference between each one at the top. I think it came down to the very last weekend last year in which we got swept by Southern Arc and we dropped. And I think we were kind of either going to be 2-3 and then all of a sudden it was 4. And so that's what makes it exciting. And so it's okay. Like I said, you want to make sure that you have the challenging back half, and the front was challenging too, though. So, but the challenging back half with these teams that are in the top 4, because by the time you get to conference, you're hopefully going to be seeing them in the tournament, right? So, our conference is awesome. It's fun. I love it. I love competing, and there's not one team that you can ever take for granted, which is awesome. You got to show up.
It really is. It's fun, and I talk about the Central Region a lot because I spend a lot of time in the Central Region, and I just think it's brutal in every single sport.
Yeah.
I think if you can make it out of the Central Region, you have a chance to go far. We actually just saw this, by the way, in basketball.
Yeah.
Both the women's and men's basketball champions came out of the Central Region.
Yep.
And one of them was the 7 seed. in the Central region, you make it out of this region, you have a chance to do well once you get further along in the NCAA playoffs. You all are 5-2 though in series wins right now.
Right.
Coming into this series today. Talk about the season, the league portion of the schedule.
Yeah, like you said, it's been tough. I think we, you never want to compare into what we've done last year and this year. Like I said, this year is just a different team. So we just got to keep our foot on the pedal, kind of. I think we dropped some early. That has helped us in later game situations finish stronger, or know that we can, like I said, push to 7. So it's kind of a growing process, I think, in that, and it's been exciting to watch. And I think that each year, if the conference is getting better, then you're getting better. So, and hopefully, right, fighting to find that. And that's, again, if you like competition, that's a good thing.
I don't think Southeastern ever really shies away from the non-conference portion of the schedule. And you were talking about dropping some games early. I mean, you guys, you face some tough opponents in that, but that's by design.
Right. Yeah, I think, like I said, you want to make sure you're playing the best to be the best and to be better than the best, hopefully. And, as you kind of trail through that, I think we had some games last year that I feel like we weren't necessarily there yet. This game or this season, we've had some games where I feel like we're right there, and we're going to get there. And, you want to use those to measure kind of where you're at. And so I think it's been, a good season for that. And we still have Cameron for midweek as well.
Yeah.
They're a tough program as well. And so, outside of conference, that's who we have left, I think.
It is, it's interesting because there's Oklahoma as a whole, and I know you've been in the state now for a little while and can see this. I mean, Division II programs, whether it be GAC teams, MIAA teams, Cameron's a Lone Star Conference team, but the NAI schools in Oklahoma are strong softball teams as well, and then you can't forget OSU and Oklahoma, either one of them. And of course, the Sooners' dominance is well documented, at the Division I level.
I'd say so.
This is a good state for softball.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun, and you got a lot of good, junior college and all that. I think we're surrounded by greatness, which is fun. So,
what does that do for you recruiting-wise?
It helps a lot. Does
it? Is it not hard to recruit against them?
It is, but that, again, that's what makes it fun, right? I think that you just got to find your niche. We've been in Texas a lot. We're trying to push more Oklahoma and get in that. A lot of out-of-state schools, honestly, it's been popping up. Grand Canyon has been popping up a lot. Some other ones that are not in this area. So that's kind of interesting for me, but I'm okay to compete against others around me.
I haven't. That's a running theme so far this morning, by the way, that Coach is not afraid to compete in any level, recruiting on the diamond, no matter what.
It's fun. You got to live for it.
I'm glad. That makes me happy. I always enjoy visiting with you, and I appreciate too. You're not scared of my questions anymore.
No. The first time I got over it. I was just scared the first time, but it's okay. We've grown since then.
Yes, we have. We definitely have. That's cool. All right. Wrapping up some time here, start to wind down a little bit because I know you actually have to coach here in just a moment. Noon is first pitch. It's a doubleheader today from Southeastern Softball Field. So if you're watching this locally, come on out because it's a beautiful day. 2 o'clock tentatively, depending on what happens in the first one. So noon and 2 today. But who are we going to see in the circle?
Going to start Ambo. Ambo Walsworth will be the first game. She's one of those, like I said, that has been nice to have as a mature adult, we'll say, in comparative to freshmen, that I feel like she's been here for a long time. She's going to do her job, and so we'll go game 2, figure it out after we get done with game 1. Take one at a time.
I kind of figured that would be the case. You measure it, and talk us through that just a little bit, because if Amber has a great game, then wonderful. You've got something probably locked in. If you bring somebody in relief, or yesterday you had 3 in the circle.
Right.
If you have a situation like that, does that affect your starter for game 2?
Yeah, some of it does. I think what we've been really fortunate to have this year, and I say, her being a mature, we have a really great pitching staff, and our freshmen have had to throw a lot of games, throw a lot of innings, and so they've matured real quick. And I'm really excited to see kind of where they go. Obviously, Reese is a returner from last year. She's got a lot of innings, and Amberlyn at this point now is in her final season as well. And so, it's really appreciated by the staff when they can be adaptable, and they do a good job of that and kind of go with the flow. And all of them love to compete too, and so they're all winning the ball, which is a good thing. but they all understand also the process of, okay, if this happens and this happens. Yeah, we went through 3 yesterday. I think that was probably the first time in a while that that we've had 3 go in, and Allie Malone came in and did a great job at the finish of it, and so you might see her today some too, but it just kind of depends on game 1. We'll see.
I know that there are 8 other players out there, but how big is that to have some of your freshmen and your younger players have some innings then under their belt when it comes to May? Because I think in any situation, and I don't want to speak for you, but just observing, rotations contract a lot as you get closer to May.
Right.
And so, but to be able to have somebody that, hey, if something, completely unforeseen happens, then you've got somebody with some innings.
Yeah, I think that's what's been, again, I don't know, my mindset's a little bit different. Like, a lot of times you see where freshmen are coming in and they're not, playing too much or whatever it is. My job recruiting is to find players that are going to come in and push the ones that are older and are going to be better than the ones that are older, right? And they can respond or they won't respond either way. And I think that's what our team has done well, is that they responded both in different ways where they're challenging each other in a way that's going to make us better. I want my freshmen to get experience because they're kind of the back half of that, right? You're coming up, but they also get to witness and watch all these older girls that have done it and kind of been put in pressure situations on how they handle it. So it's a good mix. And so it's nice to have them, being able to pop in and pop out. Anybody off the bench, we have some bats off the bench that we can pull, and defensively as well. So it's nice, but it's been cool to see them kind of mesh together and use each other in a positive way.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing some of that today.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, right now, just I'm going to say partly cloudy. I'm not a weather person per se, but it's partly cloudy. The sun is out. It's going to be windy. Supposed to be in the mid-70s. Great day probably to get some sun.
Yeah. Sunscreen.
Bring the sunscreen. I usually have to bring a lot of sunscreen for these things, but the clouds may come over. My last question is this: speaking of the sun,
yes,
Durant is in the path of the solar eclipse, and we're supposed to be down to what, like 0.3%. So it's almost total. Almost a total eclipse here in Durant, so it's in the path. That's on Monday.
Yep.
Is there anything the softball team is doing?
I don't know yet.
Are you supposed to be practicing during that time?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that yet.
You got about 48 hours to do that.
We might have an eclipse practice. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Nobody get injured with one of those fastballs coming through and all of a sudden you can't see anything. So
you can just play like glow in the dark.
There you go.
Glow in the dark softball.
All right. Coach Mackenzie Sher, who is the Southeastern softball coach and somebody that I have enjoyed getting to call friend in the last couple of years.
Well, I enjoy your friendship too.
I appreciate you. I appreciate your coaching style and what you do for this team. 4th in the standings right now, but the big thing, playing strong and you're really just wanting to put yourself in a position to be in Bentonville in May.
Right, exactly.
All right, thanks for watching today. We are here on Midwest Sports Saturday. Of course, we appreciate the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma for helping us with our Midwest Sports Saturdays as well. Always grateful for that. And we encourage you, please come back. We have a lot more next week. We also have, by the way, one last thing, I'll promote this one. We've had an opportunity to get to visit some great basketball coaches, some national championship coaches. We get to visit with Coach Drew Stutz from Freed Hardeman on Monday, so please be sure and tune in for that. In the meantime, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. God bless you all, and have a great Saturday.